Thank you. I'm often introduced as a pioneer in my field. And I have to say that disturbs me because I really thought that the women, the generation before me, conquered this. I really thought we were even. I really thought we were done with this. Only 11% of the engineering workforce is female. Of that 11%, only 30% ever get licensed to practice. And of the women in engineering workforce, only 6% are single mothers. So your chances of running across me in the engineering labor force are about 0.2%. Statistically, I guess that makes me a pioneer. We have to ask the question when we think about pioneers, where are the women? Where are the women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? Women make only 77 cents on the dollar in America. In the areas of STEM, we make only 60 cents on the dollar. In the areas of computer programming and computer engineering, 49 cents on the dollar. This is not a half-full glass. I believe that if we continue to wait on the sidelines, the progress made by those who came generations before us will slowly be eroded away. And I believe we can no longer afford to wait on the sidelines, that we have to begin to embrace diversity now, because true economic development requires diversity. True economic development, TED, right? We have to realize that if either gender unilaterally fails, we all fail. We have to make ourselves the community of opportunity for all. I have a passion for what I do. I love designing and building the neighborhoods of our community. But my journey hasn't always been an easy one. For those of you who know me personally, you know I'm kind of bossy, right? I have bossy little girl syndrome. I've never gotten over it. When I graduated from high school, the guidance counselor recommended that I go into music because I was a talented musician and not engineering. I quickly determined that although physics was difficult, it was not near as miserable as a 6x6 practice room in the basement of a smelly university building. In 1998, I was told by the College of Mechanical Engineering that I should find another major, that I lacked the ability or attitude to ever become a successful engineer. They added that they were doing me a favor. Bossy little girls don't take direction. So I actually received a degree in civil engineering in 1991. I was so excited to get my first job offer in engineering. I had finally arrived. And then I opened the offer letter. $5 an hour to be a project engineer. And I was required to answer the phone and do the filing. And I took that job, and I persevered. And then I got the second job. And in the second job, my first week there, I received a note left on my chair in red pen, stating that if I ever had an affirmative action or EEO issue, I would be terminated, and it was signed. I got the third job, and before I arrived at that job, I made the goal for myself that I would be the first woman stockholder. The first woman stockholder in a 75-person firm that had one women's toilet. And I persevered, and I became the first woman stockholder, only to find out that that was as far as they were going to allow me to go, at 34, topped out. I later also discovered that the men who I was managing, they were making $20,000 a year more than I was. Now, I'm not telling you these things because I want to shame anybody. That's not going to get us anywhere. I'm telling you these things because in the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, we have lost ground in the last 30 years. Even though women now receive 53% of the degrees from colleges. And you might ask, What does diversity bring to the table? Well, recently I was invited to participate in a large engineering project. And when we got together to have our kickoff meeting, we had a team building exercise. Being a bossy girl, liking to win, I'm so excited. And then I was told I would not be allowed to participate because it wouldn't be fair. The team building exercise? Lay out a schedule on how to make a turkey dinner, with the main parameter being that the turkey took 4 hours to cook. Now, I sat on the sidelines and I watched as my peers debated and scheduled and built things in the oven and did all sorts of crazy things. And when they were done, they were so proud of themselves that they'd figured out how to schedule a turkey dinner. And then the leader of the group turned to me and he said, "Well, Pam, what would you have done?" And I said, "Well, it's easy. A turkey dinner doesn't take 4 hours. It takes 2. You get a crock pot, you get a roaster, and you get one of those little oven bags. You wrap that thing up, you put it in the oven, right? The women in the audience all know this. You put it in the oven, you drink a glass of wine while that thing effortlessly bakes itself. Twice the efficiency is worth more than half the pay." You might notice and you might ask, while in Lincoln, what does diversity mean to engineering? What does diversity bring to the table? You might notice this if you walk in a commercial mall that I've designed, because the sidewalks that I've designed are wide enough that you can push a stroller while holding a toddler's hand. The parks that I design, when you get to the end of the trail, have a turnaround for your stroller so that your stroller doesn't get muddy. My engineering company this year will make 3 times the gross revenue of last year. Now, I tell you this not because I want to be arrogant or show off. I tell you this because I want to talk to you about what diversity brings to the table. My little engineering company that is 50% men and 50% women. There's a myth about woman-owned companies. It's a horrible and destructive myth that holds us back. There's a myth that we just get free work because of our gender ownership. This myth takes us to be hated in many areas. When I became certified as a woman-owned business owner in Nebraska, I became the victim of a horrible hate blog. This blog said things like that I was stupid, that I didn't know what I was doing, that I lacked professionalism. It even said that a white man was secretly running my firm behind the scenes. And you know, I wished he would have shown up because I had a lot of work to do. And all the horrible things that this blog said, nobody commented back anything positive. And my friends would call me, they were reading the blog, and they would say, "Oh, this is awful, Pam." And it was. I have to say that I lost my passion to the point that I didn't even want to get up and go to work in my own company. I was devastated. And then one day there was the blog. Things you should know about my mother. It was blog-tastic. It had not a single piece of punctuation or a capital letter. Things you should know about my mother. She values all of her employees and treats them fairly. Things you should know about my mother. She values her clients and she has passion for what she does. And it was signed Dedicated Son. What's significant about this blog entry? There was never another entry on that blog. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "It's what you don't do that's a destructive force." Bigotry and hate struck down by a 14-year-old white male in our community. Today, I would like you to ask yourself, what would diversity bring to the table? What can you do to help and support those around you? And lastly, I would like to say that I'm Pam Dingman, licensed professional engineer. and I will continue to be a pioneer for change. Thank you.